Stress can stem from a variety of scenarios. Maybe you know a recent college graduate looking for a job, or you're struggling to pay your bills. Stress comes in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, it sure does. And this morning we're taking a closer look at 4 of the biggest factors likely impacting your mental health and also what you can do to try and help. For some tips, we're joined by CEO of Hegira Health, Carol, who is here with us today. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for asking me to join you.
Of course, we know this is a little early for you, so that's why we're really glad you're here. We've been talking about 4 major things that can help with your mental health. What are those big factors, Carol?
So we're looking at paying attention to the impact of technology. We're looking at social determinants of health, which have a huge impact on a lot of people's mental health. We're looking at events and how they impact our mental well-being. And we really need to pay attention to socialization, loneliness, and how we interact and connect with other people.
So when you say events, what does that mean? Are you talking about major life events that would spark more stress than usual?
So we're looking at events. So this is May is Mental Health Awareness Month across the nation. So we're focusing a lot on what's going on in the world, and the impact of world events, the wars, natural disasters, catastrophes, coming off the edge of the pandemic, and how that has impacted people, and trying to help people understand that it's not abnormal to be affected by all of these very difficult things going on in the world. Fear, our questioning what's going to happen tomorrow, that change to our expectations of our world, and how that's impacting people's stress levels, anxiety, depression.
And when things like that are brought up, it's kind of a double-edged sword. When you ask for help, you might be seen as weak. When you don't ask for help, you're really losing out on probably getting that help. So how do you manage getting the help and maybe in an appropriate way?
Sure, and Mental Health Awareness Month is all about normalizing mental health. It's all about making people very aware that mental health is extremely important to your general well-being. So what we're doing during Mental Health Month is we're normalizing that everyone is experiencing these things. So when we look at how the events are affecting people, the studies show that as many as 75% of people say they're overwhelmed by what they're hearing in the news about what's going on in the world. So the first step is to recognize and realize that it's okay to not feel okay, and then to get some help and to get that help early.
And at what point would you need to maybe go get therapy or talk to someone else other than a spouse or a friend?
Yeah, so there's signs and symptoms that are pretty common that people need to pay attention to. So the first one is sleep, and sleep is really critically important if you're looking at whether or not your kids are having issues. Difficulty falling asleep, waking up early, nightmares, those are real key indicators, as well as appetite, loss of appetite, lack of interest in food, change in socialization, change in behavior. So when these things are happening, and they're happening in a way that are starting to impair your life, look for support to start, but if they're enduring, the kind of general rule of thumb is 2 to 3 weeks. If you're really seeing that your life or your child's life or someone you care about, that their life is being impacted for that period of time, to seek some help.
So interesting you mentioned technology right off the bat. So obviously we've talked a lot about social media and its effect on young people, but how does technology affect us when we're talking about folks of our age?
Right, so in part of that is the events, right? So we're bombarded with the constant news. We have a lot of unrest in our country politically that creates tension between people, and we're connected to our devices. We have we have issues with boundaries around work, right?
Sure.
So our devices have made it really difficult to turn off work when we get home. So that downtime and creating those boundaries for yourself, creating opportunities for self-care, getting away from all the information, getting away from the to-dos and the I want to do.
And I know a new partnership about positive self-esteem through art. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Oh, great. Yeah, so Hegira Health has partnered with the Downriver Council of the Arts, and we are promoting self-expression to middle school and high school students through art. So we have had an exhibit going on since the end of April at the council in Wyandotte, and Thursday night coming up next week, there's going to be a final exhibit. These teenagers are expressing self-esteem through art, and we're going to have some programs during the summer to to continue the opportunity for that self-expression.
Okay.
Fantastic. Carol, thank you so much for being here. Such an important topic. We're so glad you're here to share some of that with us.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Stay with us. We're back in a couple of minutes with much more.